Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Venus again. Yes, we're on the same day as my life update video. Um, and this time I'm going to, since it's Friday, I thought it would be fun, and we will go over the goddess of love from Norse mythology, Freya. Um, I have a book here that I'm going to read from and try to describe who Freya is. There's a couple pages, so this might be a little long, so I'm sorry, but I think she's a very interesting goddess, and I won't be um um reading every single word of every single page, but I will be trying to go as in depth as possible. So, we'll start from the beginning. Freya, the fair northern goddess of beauty and love, was a sister of Frey and the daughter of Nord and Nerthus, or Skadi. Skadi is Skadi. I think it's Skadi. She was the most beautiful and best beloved of all of the goddesses. And while in Germany, she was identified with Frigga. So in Germany, basically, Frigga and Freya were the same person. But in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland, Freya was considered a separate divinity. And she was born in a Vanaheim, also known as Vanadis, the goddess of the Vanaz, or as a Vanabride. Um, she was bestowed upon her realm of Folkvang and the Great Hall. Let me try to pronounce this. I can't promise I'll pronounce it correctly. Ses Rimnir, or the Rumi seated. That was what she was given. And oh gosh, I have to sneeze. I hate having to sneeze. Anyways, here is a little line from a poem about Freya and her hall. Folkvang 'tis called, where Freya has right to dispose of the hall seats. Every day of the slain she chooses the half and leaves half to Odin. Basically, when it is believed that when you pass, obviously there's hell that you may go to, but there's also Folkvang or Valhalla. So the courageous warriors that passed, they'll go to Valhalla. But half of them are chosen by Freya to live in her hall or to stay in her hall after they pass. So don't quote me completely on that word for word. That's just my basic understanding of it. I'm obviously still learning. So, next up. Although goddess of love, Freya was not soft and pleasure loving only, for the ancient northern races believed that she had very martial tastes, and that Valfreya, she often led the Valkyrs down to the battlefields, choosing and claiming one half the heroes slain. She was therefore often represented with corselet and hamlet and helmet, shield, and spear, the lower part of her body only being clad in the usual flowing feminine garb. So as you can imagine, very, I was about to say godly, but like duh. But she was very beautiful, obviously, goddess of love. Duh. Um, and then it goes on to say that she would transport the the chosen slain to Valfane, to Folkvang. Um, let's see. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not missing anything like that you guys might want to hear. Oh, this is interesting. Her very name in Germany being used as the verb to woo. Woo woo. I'm sorry. But yeah, so you can use Freya to woo. Interesting. Love it. Um, Frey and Odur. Odur, Odur. However you want to pronounce that. I'm not the best at pronouncing names, so I'm sorry in advance. Um, she was married to Odur, who was the symbol of the summer sun, and she loved him dearly. But Odur was a rover at heart, and wearying of his wife's company, he left home suddenly and wandered far out into the wide world. Freya was sad and forsaken, and she wept abundantly. Her tears fell upon the hard rocks, which softened at their contact. There, we are told that even that they trickled down to the very center of the stones, where they were transformed to gold. Some tears fell into the sea and were changed into translucent amber. So that's basically the beginning of where gold came from, like what caused this mineral to come to play in the earth's surface and everything. It's because of this happening with Freya and Oder. Um, she was crying, tearful. Her husband had left. Her tears went into the seeped into the rocks and became gold. Pretty straightforward. Um, I think this is another. Yes. So I'm going to read this to you. It's another little poem thing about this story. It says, and Freya next came nigh with golden tears, the loveliest goddess she in heaven by all, most honored after Frey, Odin's wife. Her long ago the wandering Oder took to mate, but left her to roam distant lands. Since then she seeks him and weeps tears of gold. Names hath she many. Vanadis on earth they call her. Freya is her name in heaven. And it is, sorry, I keep going quiet. I'm so sorry. I get lost in this. Um, it also in the north, like northern brides, they'll tend to have myrtle or they'll like wear myrtle. Um, in reference to how Freya found Odur again. She found him under flowering myrtle trees. Myrtle trees? Yes, myrtle trees. I want to make sure that it was a tree. Um, and she was obviously happy again. She found her husband. And so brides in the north will wear myrtle to show for the goddess of love. The husbands of Freya. This will be interesting. Freya was so beautiful that all the gods, giants, and dwarves longed for her love and in turn tried to secure her as a wife. But Freya scorned the ugly giants and refused even Thrym when urged to accept him by Loki and Thor. She was not so obdurate where the gods themselves were concerned. If the various mythologists are to be believed, for as the personification of the earth, she is said to have wedded Odin the sky, Frey the fruitful rain, Odur the sunshine, and until it seems as if she deserved the accusation hurled against her by the archfiend Loki, having loved and wedded all the gods in turn. Interesting. Now we're on to worship of Freya. This is the last bit. So obviously this isn't too long of a video, thankfully. I was scared that this would be really long because I'm a slow reader a lot of times. So, but this is worship of Freya. It was customary on solemn occasions to drink Freya's health with that of the other gods, and when Christianity was introduced in the north, this toast was transferred to the Virgin or to Saint Gertrude. Freya herself, like all the heathen divinities, was declared a demon or witch and banished to the mountain peaks of Norway, Sweden, or Germany, where the Brocken is pointed out as her special abode and the general trysting place of her demon train on I'm gonna butcher this. Okay. Walpurgisnacht. I know Nacht, which is night, because that's German, but I don't know the first half of that word. I'll have to look it up at some point. But there is a song, poem, as you would call it, called Chorus of Witches about the worship of Freya. And it says, "On to the Brocken the witches are flocking, merry meet, merry part, how they gallop and drive, yellow stubble and stalker rocking, and young green corn is merry alive, with the shapes and shadows swimming by. To the highest heights they fly, where Sir Urien sits on high, throughout and about, with clamor and shout, drives the maddening rout, over stock, over stone, shriek, laughter, and moan, before them are blown." It I like it. I don't know why I like it. I like how it runs. How close? Can you get out of the closet, Missy? Okay. Anyways, as the swallow, cuckoo, and cat were held sacred to Freya in heathen times, these creatures were supposed to have demon attributes. Sorry, I looked at the word and it didn't look like a word. And to this day, witches are always depicted with coal black cats beside them. So I guess you could kind of see it as Freya may have been almost like a basis of witchcraft. Now there is a goddess of witchcraft, obviously. But with Norse mythology, I would say Freya is probably a fairly close attribute to that, as they saw her as worshiping her as a form of witchcraft. Cats, I swear. Which ironically, Freya, cats, okay. But anyways, that is all I have for today about Freya. If there are any questions about any of the short stories that I read off or anything, just comment them. If there's any god or goddess that you would like to know about more, just comment them. I can find them, I can research them, I can give more details. I can even do I can do multiple videos, I can do longer videos. It's just kind of what you guys are wanting. Subscribe for more content. I'll try to keep this playlist alive. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.